refused to let the agents inside the home. The father said they were not allowed to enter the property without a court order. Nevertheless, one of the sheriff's deputies responded by forcing his way into the home and spraying the father and mother in the face with pepper spray. Next, he used his taser on the father, shooting him in the back with a weapon. Horrified, the mother shut the door to separate herself and her husband from the officer, who then triggered the taser 3 more times through the closed door, as the barbs were still stuck inside the husband. Then the second officer helped the first officer, who's tasered these people, force open the door, found both the couple lying on the floor in pain. The officers then pepper sprayed the couple as they laid on the floor. With the couple subdued, the officers then turned to the family dog. There we go, puppy side. They didn't shoot it, however. They just sprayed it with a chemical agent, then threatened to shoot it if it did not stop barking. At the end of the raid, the couple was arrested. Both of them were charged with resisting arrest and child endangerment. They then took their children away from them for quite some time. Now, let me read you, that's the basis of the lawsuit. Let me read you what the court in Missouri said. Again, this is in Missouri, like Ferguson. But this is not a Missouri issue. This is a national issue. And this is not a black thing. These people, I don't know if they were black, but I don't think they were black. This is a blue thing. This is the police not under control with rules of engagement, not following the law. And that's what a court said in Missouri. A court in Missouri has ruled a raid staged against a homeschooling family in 2011 violated their constitutional rights. And Kurt Nimmo points out in this article on Infowars.com that they lost custody of their children for months after this raid. The children were traumatized by witnessing the police assault on their parents. The court has now ruled the raid was unconstitutional. Here's the quote from the court. They said, the court will not allow an exception to sanction warrantless entry into a private residence by pepper spray and taser. If the officer had a warrant in hand and such force was necessary, that's a different story. But those are not the facts of this case. And unfortunately, they are not the facts of many, many, many cases. They go on to write, the Fourth Amendment strikes a carefully crafted balance between a family's right to privacy and the government's need to enforce the law. Now, they were defended by the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. If you are homeschooling and you do not have contact with the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, you need to support them. They are a very useful advocate if you ever come into a situation like this. They went on to say, the rule applies to all government agents. The Homeschool Legal Defense Association says, court after court has agreed there is no social services exception to the Fourth Amendment. And they also cited a law professor at Duke University who wrote a treatise, Storming the Castle to Save the Children, the ironic costs of child welfare exception to the Fourth Amendment. She said, violent police raids can shatter the innocence of even the youngest of children, causing a broad range of emotional responses, including trauma, anxiety, fear, shame, guilt, stigmatization, powerlessness, self-doubt, depression, and isolation. You know, we've seen this happen. We talked about this last week. As I said, this is not a black thing. This is a blue thing. We need to get control of law enforcement. And again, this kind of action we've seen sanctioned and approved over and over again because of the explosion of SWAT team raids, as we talked about last week in Frank Serpico's op-ed piece that he wrote for Politico last month. He pointed out that in his day, the real issue was corruption within the police force. Now it is an epidemic of violence within the police force. And I would suggest that both of those things have come from drug prohibition. We've had many times James Gierach from the police and prosecutors who are against prohibition. LEAP, it's Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, is actually the organization. We've had him on many times talking about how prohibition corrupts, and we've all seen it with the movies, with the newsreels, with the documentaries about alcohol prohibition. We know how that created a black market monopoly for organized crime, how it corrupted law enforcement and government. We have seen the same thing happen in our country with drug prohibition. The difference is that drug prohibition has been allowed to run its course now for multiple decades. And it's this kind of violence that is now being directed against many of the people who would never have thought about drugs, but would have approved this kind of violent reaction from the government to try to interdict drugs. We need to understand that the solution to everything is not government, and it's not government violence. We'll be right back. We're going to cover Ferguson. We're going to have our reporters in Ferguson, and we're going to have Paul Joseph Watson joining us in the next hour. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving, an in-home freeze dryer from Harvest Right. With your very own freeze dryer, you'll be able to freeze dry the food your family loves. Because we live in uncertain, difficult times, what better way to show your love for your family than to buy them a gift that helps them preserve food they can use now or in 25 years. Go to harvestright.com and find out how you can get your in-home freeze dryer. Layaway is available. That's harvestright.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
Americans, you are being lied to. Does your skin crawl when a politician or a stock market guru say that we are in the midst of an economic recovery? According to top insiders, the largest financial meltdown in history is coming. You can prepare, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, how do you find the cash? If you're fortunate enough to have retirement savings, it's probably not enough. And if it's in the market, it could be wiped out just like the last crash. But this time it will almost certainly be much worse. Precious metals are a great hedge, but they won't generate immediate cash flow to pay the bills. Learn the secret to creating cash flow and freedom. Get a free copy of my special report at babyboomerbackupplan.com or call 800-704-4117. That's 800-704-4117. Or visit babyboomerbackupplan.com. Traditional retirement may not be in the cards, but re-inspirement can change everything. babyboomerbackupplan.com.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Don't take a cold or flu lying down. Stand up and fight back with Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver is a natural immune system booster that is highly effective against viruses, bacteria, and fungus. Supernatural Silver is perfect for daily use and can be taken orally or used topically to keep you protected from whatever comes your way. This new technology is hundreds of times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver and is supported by extensive research from over 300 clinical studies at universities and independent research facilities across the country. Supernatural Silver has an exceptionally long storage life and should be an essential part of your emergency preparedness. Don't be caught off guard. Give your body the support it needs to fight off deadly pathogens that are lurking everywhere. Stock up on Supernatural Silver and give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. supernaturalsilver.com.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. On this Monday, November 24th, 2014, I'll be your host today. We'll have Paul Joseph Watson joining us from the UK in the second hour. Our reporters, Jakari Jackson and Joe Biggs, joining us from Ferguson, Missouri in the third hour or earlier if there's an announcement from the grand jury. Now, before we get back to the news, I want to let you know about our newsletter. Many of you may not be aware of our new newsletter. You know, every day we see attempts to censor and control the internet. Of course, the FCC is working to control the internet. They're working to control its content. We've seen CISPA and SOPA, ACTA, PIPA, many different legislative approaches that have been put forward and have been rejected because of the people getting involved and the population saying we don't want our internet content controlled. Yet they're going to bring that back. They're going to push that through with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the Transatlantic Partnerships, these trade agreements that are being negotiated. They're going to do that in the back door, just as Obama could not get his agenda through legislatively, so he just does it by decree. They're also going to do internet control by decree, by a secretly negotiated treaty. So every day we see Infowars.com being blocked around the world, but there's one way that you can make sure that you can get the information, and that is subscribing to our new newsletter. You can escape the internet censorship right now. You can get the latest and breaking news, exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, daily stories that are not available on Infowars.com and are only viewable by newsletter subscribers. It's free. And this week, we are launching some very huge specials on InfoWars Gear, InfoWars Life that are entirely unprecedented. Only newsletter subscribers will be given advanced notice 24 hours beforehand. Now, you can subscribe to this, as they're showing if you're watching this right now, the video feed. You can subscribe to InfoWars Underground Insider right now on the homepage, on the sidebar at Infowars.com, or visit Infowars.com/newsletter to get the exclusive daily content and today's behind-the-scenes video, as well as check out our previous exclusive newsletter content. Now, just before the break, we were talking about this particularly egregious case, although, you know, it's not isolated, unfortunately. We see SWAT team raids coming in, throwing flashbang grenades into the cribs of children because they haven't done their research, their due diligence. Many cases, we see SWAT team raids being conducted that have not gotten the proper paperwork. But even if they have the proper paperwork, do we really want to have these no-knock raids? Do we really want to allow officers to go to a home where a family has been accused of having a messy house? Do we really want them to go and harass people, and then when they're told, get a search warrant if you want to come back and harass me again, they bust through the door, they taser the mother and father, they pepper spray the mother and father, they pepper spray the dog, threaten to shoot the dog? Do we really want to live in that kind of a country? See, it's not just black people, it's not just homeschoolers. You could be walking down the street and somebody, or you could be in a store and somebody could finger you. There's of course, a movement now in the case that was in Ohio, in the Walmart, I believe it was in Ohio. The fellow who was, let's see, I'm looking at the newsletter here. Nevertheless, it's a story, yes, Ohio. It's a story where, if you remember, back in August, we covered it here at Infowars.com. The man who was going through Walmart, he was shopping for gifts. He'd picked up a toy BB gun. He was on the phone with his wife, talking to her, and she hears the incident happen. Somebody in the store had called 911 and said there's a man threatening people with a gun. Now, subsequent video footage showed that was absolutely a lie. Nevertheless, the police showed up, shot him dead. The wife, who's listening to the phone call, hears the police say, get down on the ground, and shots go out. And then he's down on the ground because they didn't wait for him to even comply. So when we look at that happening in a Walmart, when we look at that happening to these homeschoolers, we look at a lot of these different things that are happening on a daily basis. We see in Utah, the killings by the Utah police are outpacing gang, drug, child abuse homicides. In this article from the Salt Lake City Tribune, they say over the past 5 years, more Utahns have been killed by police than by gang members, or by drug dealers, or from child abuse. So far this year, deadly force by the police has claimed more lives, 13, including a Saturday shooting in South Jordan. They've claimed more lives by the police shootings than has violence between spouses and dating partners. As the tally of fatal police shootings rises, law enforcement watchdogs say it's time to treat deadly force as a potentially serious public safety problem. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to cover what's going on with the grand jury. How is it being used here? What is a grand jury? How is it different from a regular jury? You need to understand what the law is, especially what juries do. You need to be enforcing your rights as a juror in jury nullification. But we're going to talk about what a grand jury is when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.